Welcome to the video homily for Pentecost, the day of Pentecost. Welcome, very warm welcome if you're visiting our site and just dropping in. Throughout the Easter season, we've been hearing the stories telling us that the disciples weren't alone because the risen Jesus was still with them. We've listened to all those stories. The risen Jesus was with them when they were doubting, when they were afraid, or when they were grieving. The risen Jesus walked with them, ate with them, until a week ago, as we thought of the ascension, he finally left. And now here we arrive at the great festival of Pentecost, the coming of the promised Holy Spirit, the advocate, the comforter. Pentecost reminds us that the Jesus of the Gospels is no longer pinned down by time and space. He's not in Galilee. He's not in Bethany, in Nazareth, or in Jerusalem, but with us, among us, here and now, beyond place and time. The risen Jesus is with us right now as the Holy Spirit, just as he was with the disciples in first century Palestine. Today, on this day of Pentecost, we remember that because God's Spirit is with us, all the things we've heard during the Easter season, that we should be one, that we should love one another, that we should be hopeful, loving people, they're actually possible because the Holy Spirit in us makes it possible. Let's just imagine the scene in today's Gospel from the 20th chapter of John if you want to have a read. The disciples are together on the first day of the week in the room that had become their prayer space, worship space if you like. They probably share a communal meal, and they probably remember Jesus in bread and wine. And all of a sudden, a strong gush of wind bursts into the room and flames descend on their heads. There's great consternation, and the disciples run out into the streets. And they speak to the crowds of all that had happened with a crystal clarity, telling the story of Jesus in a way that moved 3,000 others to join them, and a new community, the church, is born. We find Peter, who, like the other disciples, so often got everything just so wrong, but had now utterly grasped the truth. The wind and the fire of Pentecost made them all find their voice. And as they spoke to the crowd of resurrection and hope, at first the people thought that they were drunk. As Australians who have experienced the horror of the last summer, the Holy Spirit coming to us as flame and fire has really uncomfortable connotations. We've witnessed firsthand fire as a powerful, destructive and life-threatening force. So it's a really complex kind of idea that has undercurrents to it. But the Holy Spirit also comes to us as wind, came gushing into that room as a blast of wind. Now, wind is disturbing and uncomfortable. I've heard that horses go crazy on a windy day. It's really disturbing to be out in a high wind. Wind has no material shape or form. It's invisible. Now, it can either come as a soft whisper that just rustles the trees, or it can blast in as a fierce hurricane. It's a mysterious, unseen, but powerful force. And so it is with the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit pours through our life either as a gentle whisper, encouraging us on, or with the possibility of powerful transformation. Or it can be like a great hurricane that just blows all the things getting in the way of a transformed life. Quantum theology points out that nothing significant happens in our universe without disturbances. There's always some kind of wind and noise and fire. The church's equilibrium is always disturbed whenever and wherever the Spirit shows up. Today, on this Pentecost, this day of Pentecost, we're challenged to see and to find God in new ways. We're challenged to open our eyes wider, to look differently, to find God at work in our lives. There's a video elsewhere on the virtual church page under the video reflections that puts to music those beautiful Irish words, Christ be with me, Christ behind me, Christ below me, Christ above me, Christ at my right hand, Christ at my left. Christ as I rise up, Christ as I lie down. Through the coming of the Holy Spirit that we celebrate today, Christ is with me. Christ is all around me and everywhere right now in this world, and therefore, no matter what I'm going through, no matter what happens in my life, I'm never alone. I'm never left to endure it alone. The living God speaks to us all today in the language of fire and wind. Pentecost is alive every time we use the gifts given to us by the Holy Spirit to serve one another. Pentecost is alive whenever we work to bring peace, to bring unity, to care for the needy, whenever we move out beyond our locked rooms to share community. We are a Pentecost people. The Holy Spirit has come to us, so we are not alone. God is with us. The Lord be with you.